Hi everyone, John here. Today I want to talk about how positive thinking is not enough to save your health. Now over here, I'm going to share an audio program that I listened to a couple years ago. The program is called Your Wish is Your Command. Many people on the internet are trying to find this program, trying to get it to download for free. I'm going to share with you how you can get this program completely for free. It's very simple. Now, if you go to my channel, go to any one of my videos, there's going to be a link in the descriptions or in my first pinned comment. You want to tap on that link. Tapping on that link is going to take you to a sales page. Now, if you don't want to read the sales page, that's perfectly fine. There are a couple of buy now buttons on this page, and you can tap on this buy now button, which will take you to an order form. Now, you want to scroll down a little bit. Under here, there's going to be an area where you can enter the coupon code. The coupon code is YWIYC. You can put it in all caps. You can do lowercase, doesn't really matter. You want to hit apply. You can see once you use the discount code, saving yourself $500. You want to scroll back on top, fill out your contact, billing, and payment information, and tap complete my order. Check your email in a couple of minutes and see if the email arrived. If it's not in your inbox, check the spam folder. If it's in your spam folder, you can redrag that email back into your inbox. And once you're in that email, you just want to tap on the very first link, and it'll take you to the 14 audio series, Your Wish is Your Command, How to Manifest Your Desires. Now, what is this program all about? I wanted to scroll down a little bit on the sales page. If you are into any of these speakers, authors, such as Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Joe Vitale, Tony Robbins, Earl Nightingale, Joe Dispenza, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Charlie Tremendous Jones, Kevin Robert, Ed Foreman, Joe Bauer, Grant Cardone, Dennis Waitley, Marshall Silver, Neville Goddard. If you're into any of these speakers or authors, this is definitely up your alley. Today, I want to discuss a little bit about what this program is all about. Today, I want to share with you what I learned in the CD series or audio series and how I applied it to better my own personal life in the area of my health. Now, there are 4 specific lessons in the CD set audio series. The first lesson is, who do you listen to? The second lesson is the Teachability Index. The third lesson is the Training Balance Scale. And the fourth lesson is 4 steps to mastery. Now, the very first lesson is, who do you listen to? Many of these lessons, they seem so simplified, they seem so simple. It takes about 5 minutes to learn, but it takes about a lifetime to master, as Kevin shares on his program. Now, the very first lesson is, who do you listen to? According to Kevin, he says, listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. So there are 2 parts to this. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Now, for many years, I struggle with a dad bod. I struggle with weight loss rebound. What that is all about is I will lose a couple of pounds working hard at the gym, eating right, calorie counting my fitness pal, lose a couple of pounds, but I will gain it all back and then some. And that's what weight loss rebound is all about. And I struggled weight loss rebound for many, many years. And I was going through these struggles. I would share with my friends and they would tell me, hey, what you need to do, you need to go to the gym, get yourself a personal trainer. And that's what I did. That's everything that I knew back then. I don't know how to turn my health around. I was living in Southern California at the time in San Diego. This was me. And downtown, there was a 24-hour fitness in the Horn Plaza. So I went down to the Horn Plaza, and inside the Horn Plaza, in that 24-hour fitness, you know these trainers, they're going to pull up and start asking you a whole bunch of questions. Hey, I can become your personal trainer. What we can do here, we can lay out a nice plan for you. What are your goals? Are you trying to bulk up? Are you trying to cut? Etc. Now, the problem that I had with this 24-hour fitness was, listen, a lot of those trainers that I was looking at, they were even much worse shape than I was. They had a higher fat percentage than I had. According to this first lesson, many people are missing it right off the bat. Who do you listen to? You must listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. People you're listening to right now, can they really take you to the promised land? Have they demonstrated success in their own life? Can they really understand where you have been, the struggles you've been through? And they're like, oh, I can relate to that problem in the past, and this is how I overcame that problem. We've been trained to listen to all the wrong people because people say, hey, these are the experts. They had their certificates, they probably went to school for this, and this is the reason why. Don't think, just listen to exactly what they tell you to do. And for many years, I tried doing that. I tried going to the gym, get myself a personal trainer, eating right, calorie count, and that's what they told me to do, which isn't very different than what I was doing before. And I was still weight loss rebounding. And I had a whole bunch of other health problems, which I'll be sharing with you guys. Who do you listen to? This is such an important lesson because we often overlook these simple lessons. In addition to my weight loss rebound, I also had nasal congestion, I had joint discomfort, I also had restless feet syndrome. Now, many of you may not know what restless feet syndrome is all about. What happens is when you're trying to sleep, all of a sudden your feet they begin to move on their own like they're possessed. I know it sounds kind of crazy. You guys can go on YouTube and look up different videos on restless feet syndrome, and there was nothing that I could do to make this thing stop. So you're sleep deprived because your feet they were constantly moving. You can't really get proper sleep. The next day you wake up, you're going to work, nasal congestion. What do the doctors tell you to do? Hey, well, just go pick up some Claritin, reduce some nasal congestion, get some antihistamines, and if they stop working, come back and they'll give you more prescription strength antihistamines. You kind of go from there. Now I'm just caught in this cycle. I got all this weight loss rebound, nasal congestion, joint discomfort. I'm going to the doctor. Who was I listening to? When I listening to the right people? Many people they just go along because they don't have anything on their radar screen that can show them and take them to a better destination. Can these doctors really take you to the promised land? I want you guys to really be very critical about who you're listening to right now. If you want to get your health back on track, okay, you want to just take a quick look at your own family doctor. They're always critiquing your lab results, right? Maybe you got some lab work done, they come back, or they take your vital signs, they come back and they say, well, these are your respiratory rate, your heart rate, maybe they do an ECG, EKG, electrocardiogram. They're always so ready to critique your lab reports, always ready to critique your lab results. Instead of time, just be very practical and be like, you know what, doc, we're going to turn this thing around. What we're going to do, we're going to have you get on that scale. We're going to measure your weight. And after that, we're going to get your height. And from these two numbers, we're going to get your body mass index. That if you're getting over 30 with your body mass index, I'm going to find myself a family doctor that's in much better shape than you are right now. That's the type of attitude we need to have going forward because many people we're listening to right now, they cannot help us. They can't even help themselves. You're trying to fix your chronic diseases. I don't care if it's diabetes, hypertension, combination of both, kidney problems. Maybe your doctors is struggling with those too. They're always saying what your problems are. Wouldn't it be better, have a very discussion with your own doctor and be like, hey, doctors, what type of chronic diseases are you struggling with right now? How many meds are you on? Is there another path? Are there people that actually overcame these chronic diseases using naturopathic ways, using holistic ways, using integrative medicine? Now, I went on this path of recovering my own personal health because I knew, hey, just doing what I was doing before wasn't working. And going to the trainer that was overweight, listen to my doctors, just getting a bunch of medications prescribed, that wasn't working. So I had to increase my ability to learn, to absorb new information that is currently not on my radar screen. And that is the next lesson in Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command. In Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command, the second lesson is the Teachability Index. The Teachability Index. This is such an important lesson. I want to explain it to the best of my ability, so I'm going to slow this down a little bit. What is the Teachability Index? Another way you can say Teachability Index is the Coachability Index. How coachable are you? It has two components. The first component is, what is your willingness to learn? What is your willingness to learn? Okay, you got to give yourself a score between 0 to 10. Next, what is your willingness to accept change? Also giving yourself a score between 0 to 10. Now, what is your willingness to learn? How do you know if you have a willingness to learn? First, you must identify what is your favorite activity right now. What is that thing you love doing day in and day out? Now, for most people, people come back home after work. What do they usually do? Turn on the Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime videos, catching their favorite TV shows. Could be sports, could be the PlayStation, maybe drinking with their friends, going out to the clubs on the weekends, and that's their favorite thing to do. Are you willing to set all that aside? Are you willing to say, you know what? I'm going to put down the PlayStation, put down the TV shows, and I'm going to replace them with audios, going to replace them with books. I'm going to attend conferences in person, or I'm going to take online courses that's going to shove new information into my head to better in the areas of my health, my finances, relationships. Pick one. If you don't have the results that you want, you have to improve yourself by getting new information that is currently off your radar screen. And I'll explain in depth, this is what I had to do for myself. What is your willingness to learn? Setting aside your favorite activities and replacing it something that's actually going to benefit you. So there are 30 days in a month, and how many of those days out of 30 are you willing to set aside your favorite activity and replacing with audios, replacing with books, online conferences, or you're attending conferences in person, some type of activity that's going to increase your learning. So that's the very first part right there. And give yourself a score. If you're doing 10 days out of 30, that's 33%. So you can give yourself a score of 3 out of 10 with your willingness to learn. You have to be very objective. Now, many people that jump on my live calls where they watch my videos, many people drop around this area because I'm very confrontational about law manifestation. When I'm teaching about if you want to actually create results in your life, it's not just about, oh, I need to get myself another candle, buy myself more crystals, get my another astrological chart done, and we're just feeling good all the time, visualization, do another dream board. I'm not saying those things are bad, but when it comes to rubber meets the road, this is what you need to turn your health around. I wasn't able to turn my health around if I kept doing the same thing, same old down the line. Next part is, what is your willingness to accept change? What is your willingness to accept change? It doesn't matter if you learn a whole bunch of information, people be attending conferences, these are conference warriors, they have an addiction to learning. So they're willing to pay the flights, they go to these conferences, the accommodations, and they go to the conferences. But when they go back home with all this information, what do they do with them? And that's what this part is all about. What is your willingness to accept change? Are you willing to change? That means it's not enough to have a bunch of information. Maybe you got the P90X program with Tony Horton. Then you got Shaun T, Insanity. Then you got Body Combat, Leslie Mills. You got all this DVD sets with exercise programs, but you're still sitting there on the couch eating potato chips. You're watching Tony Horton, watching Shaun T doing the exercises, but you're not doing any of them yourself. Or you learn some protocols regarding detox nutrition, holistic practices. You got the information. The bookshelf is lined up perfectly, alphabetical order. You got them all organized in different categories, books and genres, but you haven't done anything with that information. So your willingness to change in that regard is a 0 out of 10. The teachability index is the multiplication between these two numbers. Your willingness to learn, giving yourself a score between 0 to 10. Let's just say you got a willingness to learn of 3. But what is your willingness to accept change? Are you willing to take that information, actually apply it to your daily life? Now, for most people, it's usually a 0 or a very, very low score. So any people, they're out there, they got a 10 out of 10 even with their willingness to learn, but they have a 0 out of 10 with their willingness to accept change. They have a combined score of 0 because you're multiplying these two numbers together. 10 multiplied by 0 is still 0. Now that I have what now on this journey to getting my health back on track, I had to learn a lot of new information. It wasn't enough for me to just kind of, oh, I'm gonna go along and something good's gonna happen in my life. No, I had to pour through hundreds and hundreds of books. I had to go after mentors. I had to look at different naturopathic remedies. I had to crack open human physiology. I don't come from the medical field, but I knew if I don't fix this by myself, if I don't learn this for myself, nothing is getting fixed. So let me share with you this journey that I went on to recover my own personal health. And it could be very helpful for those of y'all out there who are struggling just the same that I did. I just want to say, if you want to go from the picture on the left over here to the picture on the right, I have a six-pack abs all year round. How did I get it done? First of all, I had to first learn human physiology, the digestive system. Now, I do not care where you're from, your skin color, your religious beliefs, your political background. None of that stuff matters when it comes to your digestive system because we're all the same categorically. Food enters your mouth, down the esophagus, into your stomach. Inside your stomach, you have your digestive enzymes breaking down the food. And over time, food's going to enter your small intestines for nutrient absorption. The small intestine is incredibly long. It is 4.5 meters, roughly 15 feet, followed by the large intestines, another 1.5 meters, another 5 feet in length. This is the ascending portion, transverse, and descending portion of your large intestines, and out the back for elimination. This is an animated picture just to get things very, very clear. Your digestive system, they call the alimentary canal. It's a very long piece of pipework. Once again, food enters your mouth, down the esophagus into your stomach. Digestive enzymes breaking down the food. Food enters your small intestines for nutrient absorption. And eventually it's going to make its way into the large intestines for feces formation and out the back for elimination. What you eat through your mouth must exit out the back as waste elimination. Now, for many years, I was dealing with chronic constipation. What chronic constipation is all about is you simply have a lot of waste material trapped inside your colon. And as that waste material gets trapped down there, unresolved, it's going to cause you a whole bunch of other problems because they are putrefying inside of you. Putrefy simply means decay and rot. They're going to cause you health problems, pain, and discomfort. Not only that, when you're dealing with chronic constipation, you're dealing with bloating and gas, abdominal pain, rectal bleeding sometimes. Hemorrhoids could be internal, external hemorrhoids, could be anal fissures, impaction, discomfort, general malaise, urinary problems, psychological impact, changes in bowel habits. I know it's very embarrassing, but back then I was dealing with chronic constipation. And over here, I remember that evening we were going out to this bar in downtown San Diego. I was putting on this pair of jeans. I still have this pair of jeans. And back then, I was like, why are these jeans getting so tight on me? Is it because I left them in the dryer too long? And why is this t-shirt feeling so tight around my arms? Well, many people, they are dealing with inflamed digestive system from chronic constipation. And as a result, they always have this bulging stomach. I want to address that. A lot of people, maybe you can relate to this. You're huffing and puffing on the toilet, begging and pleading. You are starting to maybe text some of your prayer warriors, your intercessory prayers, and you're like, hey, I'm a huge struggle right here. Can y'all pray for me? And after all that work, you got veins popping out the side of your temples. What do you get after all that work? You get a small little pebble. Now, there are ways that you can clean out both the small and large intestines combined, which I've outlined in my program. I'll leave a link in the comments below. You guys can check that out. Nothing that I share is professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always see the advisor, a physician, other qualified health providers, any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Now, many of you, this is very, very on your radar screen right now. You never really looked at your digestive system in detail. You didn't know that, oh, there are actually different ways to clean out this whole pipework. Now, people, they just keep on neglecting the early signs of chronic constipation. And I don't want to share with you what that is all about. I want to define what chronic constipation is. Now, if you're living in a first world country on YouTube watching this video, you're probably eating 2 to 3 meals per day. If you're not going to the bathroom every single day consistently on the clock, you're chronically constipated. Some people say, well, I go every 2 days, 2 to 3 days. I go every 2 to 3 days. Listen, if you don't resolve chronic constipation and get yourself back into regular, that 2 to 3 days chronic constipation is going to become 3 to 4 days. It's going to be 4 to 5 days, 5 to 6 days. Before you know it, you're a whole week into it. Now, I've worked with clients all over the world. There are young people in their 20s that do not use the bathroom for a whole week, and they think somehow that is okay. Well, you're going to find out. You want to begin to look through a lot of different medical texts early, even way before you have any problems, because that's going to inject a healthy dose of fear in you. For example, a lot of people don't know that their large intestine could become so inflamed, they may end up with a toxic megacolon. As we discussed before, what you eat through your mouth, it's going to stay inside your body until it can eliminate through the other side. If it's not eliminating through the other side, it's just getting compacted, it's getting bigger and bigger inside of you. Some people, they're carrying 3 to 5 pounds, 5 to 10 pounds, 10 to 15 pounds of fecal matter in their large intestines. Sometimes they keep on putting this off, putting this off. They don't do anything with it. And now certain parts of their colon becomes completely deadened. And the doctors has to go in, they start doing medical procedures. Okay, they're gonna take out certain parts, reattach remaining sections. They think that your body parts is plug and play or something. Over here, this is a colostomy bag. You've had to remove certain portions of the colon. Or over here on the right, this is called an ileoanal anastomosis. In a procedure like this, what they do is they remove the colon completely. You may be wondering, if they remove the colon, how do you use the bathroom? Well, they're going to use the remaining section of your small intestine and reattach it to your anus. You may think that I'm making up all this stuff. I'm not making up any of this. That's why you go check with your doctor, look through medical texts. You want to be very about obtaining information and how you can resolve this, okay, early, extremely early. Here's one thing that you can look into. Of course, not professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. This is called colon hydrotherapy or colonic. And what they do is, the colon hydrotherapist, they're going to have you lay here on this apparatus. They're going to put in hot water through the rectum to help excavate this waste material from your colon. Of course, once again, this is not hyperbole. This is not me making a whole bunch of stuff. You guys go look this up. But many people, they don't look into this. It's not on their radar screen. So they continue to frustrate themselves with chronic constipation. Now, my protocol that I've outlined over here, this is all about mixing these ingredients together in a specific proportion. And from there, you are drinking this down so they can clean out both the small and large intestines. When you're dealing with a colon hydrotherapy or colonic, you're dealing with cleaning out the colon specifically. You can't really reach your small intestines. So when we're talking about Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command, can you see how important it is for us to go through these basic lessons? These basic lessons, they seem so simple. They seem so reasonable, but people overlook them and people disregard it because number one, who do you listen to? Are you listening to the right people that can help you reach your goals? I remember back in 2013, 2014, I was so aggressive about this. I was like, I gotta fix my health. I need to go look and speak with these mentors. And years ago, even before 2013, 2014, I already read Charlotte Gerson's book. Charlotte Gerson, she's the daughter of Max Gerson, the founder of Gerson Therapy. She had she passed away a few years ago, but she had a clinic in Tijuana, Mexico. I was fortunate enough to meet her in person. I read through all her stuff. And one of the things that they talk about at her clinic is something called a coffee enema. When I start to dive deep on these natural health practitioners, they all talk about very different things. They may have different modalities, but they always come back to the digestive system. They always come back to you got to look at your body as a series of systems, not just parts that are separate from one another. When you're dealing with symptoms, could be skin problems. Now, when I have chronically constipated, it has skin problems. Of course, you're going to have very breath. You're going to have the worst smelling farts. Even your clothes, it's the smell of your clothes. Doesn't matter how often you wash them, and you have all this waste materials is exuding through the surface of your skin. So you don't know. Most people, they don't know how disgusting they are. You know, when they go to maybe you go to some type of place, a public sphere, you know, going to a meeting, you're the person they're trying to avoid. They can smell you a couple feet out. They know something ain't right about this person. I can't pinpoint what that is. They may have all this cologne trying to suppress, but there's something underneath all that cologne. I'll tell you what that is. It is waste material, unresolved, still sitting there in the small and large intestines. So cleaning this out takes effort. And since 2019, I've been doing this protocol. I have a protocol, it's called the Mega Poo Transformation Challenge. Lose 3 to 5 pounds per month without going to the gym. I have coached this program, not just in English, I've taught this in Chinese. People from Singapore, Malaysia, all over the world. I've translated this program into Arabic. Many people are finding great success with this program. I will definitely be leaving this link for something you guys can check out later. And once again, if you want to get Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command, this one's completely free. You just want to use any of my links in the descriptions. I'll also put it in the comments. You want to just tap buy now on the sales page. And on this order form, you want to use the coupon code, which is YWIYC. You can use all caps or lowercase, doesn't matter. And you're going to get the discount code applied. Come back on top, fill out your contact, billing, payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. They just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. Are you guys learning something? If you're learning something on this call, just let me know. Because I'm just getting warmed up around here. First, we went over who do you listen to? People who have been where you are and where you want to be. Next part, Teachability Index. What is your willingness to learn? And what is your willingness to accept change? Every single week, I had to come back to this Teachability Index because there was something more that I could learn and to apply. Now I explain a little bit more on what that is all about. Just getting my small and large intestines completely cleaned out was only the beginning. Because if you're consistent and you are able to get this waste material out of your body, I call this release the Kraken, diarrhea tsunami, you're gonna blow up your toilet if you use my protocol. And that's only the beginning. That's only the beginning. Because a lot of people don't know they may be infested with internal parasites. Internal parasites that will cause a lot of other health problems down the line if you don't get rid of them. Now, a lot of people don't know them. So once I start eliminating the waste material from the small and large intestines, it's almost like the universe, you can say, God, I got new information on my radar screen now regarding internal parasites. Could be liver flukes, pinworms, tapeworms, roundworms. And these are very internal parasites across everywhere, including the United States. People are finding parasites in their salmon at Whole Foods. We're finding worms in their Costco salmon. Over in Canada, Alberta man gets first known Canadian case of worms from grocery store raw salmon. Listen, parasites are so common. The United States has a dedicated national parasite collection. In this collection, they have over 100,000 specimens in this database. And every single year, the number of parasites that they continue to find only increases. So that's the next step that I went into. I wanted to increase my teachability index. What is my willingness to learn? Well, I spent a lot of time Going to the Library of Congress, go to archive.org, or you go to your local library. There's one thing about the internet is there's a lot of free information about everything. So there are no excuses. You can pick up these books, you can go to the internet, and you can read through these books yourself. Century of Parasitology, Veterinary Parasitology. Why is it important for you to learn both? Because many people, they don't know the pets that you own right now, and if you're very, very close to them, people, they let these pets lick all over them. They become an entry point. They become a vector. Or many people, they love to eat undercooked steak, or they like to have sushi dates, do steak tartare. Those are all risk factors. A lot of people don't know. You want to begin to study out the anatomy and their life cycles of specific parasites. Once you have an understanding of what these guys are all about, then you can go after them intelligently, right? And how do they reproduce? What is their reproductive mechanism? For example, the tapeworm, this one's a hermaphrodite. So they can reproduce all on their own. They have the rostellum and the neck up here. And every last one of these are called progodids. This is their reproductive system. Each progodid can produce 100,000 eggs. Many people, they always overlook news articles like this. They think that this can never happen to me. I don't live in Thailand. Well, there was a lady, she was featured on Animal Planet. You guys go take a quick look on YouTube, just type in Animal Planet parasites. Animal Planet did a whole series with this. And many of these individuals, they live in the United States or first world country. People, they were doubling down in pain, going to the ER. And at the ER, doctor ran a bunch of tests, found nothing wrong with her, told her to go home. Because most doctors, they don't look into internal parasites. It's not really part of their curriculum. You guys understand? And here's Liver King telling you to eat raw liver, or people are going on the Food Network. They're like, oh, I want to try that steak tartare. Or in Asia, many people, they consume intestinal products. And inside intestinal products, such as chitlin, there's going to be a lot of parasites within that product already. Now, parasites, they don't just stay inside your small and large intestines. They have the ability to penetrate through intestinal walls. They can start to target your organs one by one. They love to target the liver. Their liver is the storage of vitamins and minerals. So they can use the liver as a way to get more nutrients from your body while they survive and replicate. I know these are very uncomfortable topics. Parasites are also very common in your pets. If you're going out to the Amazons, you want to do ayahuasca, you must learn how to treat and purify the local water. A lot of people don't know how to treat, purify local water, so they drink these contaminated water, they come back, and now their body, it is very, very unstable. You can see people, they just don't know about how dangerous these parasites can get. Some parasites, they can get inside your liver, and then the doctors have to go in. They have to pull out these roundworms out of the liver one by one. Or they're going to have to do major surgeries. This is not spaghetti from the Olive Garden. Doctors had to do an operation on this guy, and they were pulling out all these roundworms from the large intestine. And we don't even have time to go into small little details, but there are many different other parasites. There are single cell protozoan parasites. Some of them could be transmitted through your pets. Some of them can be transmitted through, sexual activities. Now, there are products and herbs that could be very helpful. You just have to work with your doctor, naturopathic doctor, holistic doctor, to find the winning combination for you. Could be clove bud, wormwood, garlic, oregano. You want to work with your doctor, naturopathic doctor, find some of these products, some of them the combination, and find something that's going to help you eliminate these parasites out of your body. But it's not enough just to eliminate internal parasites. That's a mistake a lot of people make, because once they take these different herbs, maybe OTC medications, they don't know how to flush out all the dead parasites out of their body. You got to do these detoxes in stages. And that's the thing that I learned since 2019, because I had so many improve my own personal health, but I also made a lot of mistakes. I'm just sharing with you the mistakes that I made so you can avoid them. So over here, let's just say you're dealing with chronic constipation. You need to resolve that first and get your digestive system regular where you're going to the bathroom consistently. Then you can think about, okay, I want to be taking these herbs, eliminating the internal parasites out of my body. Because after you take those herbs, you still need a way to flush out all the dead parasites out of the body. You guys hearing what I'm saying? Very important. A lot of people miss that part. Are you guys having a good time? Let me know in the comments below if it's making sense for y'all. I have a lot more to share. Just give me some time. I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. Oh my goodness. If you decide to improve yourself, if you decide to go on this path of personal development, you got to continue to learn, as I did. I didn't just stop at cleaning the small and large intestines. I didn't just stop at cleaning and eliminating the internal parasites out of my body for years. Okay. In 2023, I started to clean out specific organs such as the gallbladder and my liver. There could be gallstones that are trapped inside your gallbladder right now. Many people, they get the gallbladder completely removed. Over 1.2 million Americans get the surgery done every single year. I did not want to get that done. And intuitively, I knew my gallbladder was in trouble. I was just reminded of a book that I read a couple years ago by Andreas Moritz. He wrote a book called The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. And at the time when I read the book, it was so off the radar screen. I read it and I didn't have the courage to do the protocol. Well, 2023, I was sitting in my living room and a voice came to me, told me, you gotta go reread that book. And that very day, I started to get the ingredients, and by that weekend, I performed my first liver and gallbladder flush. The gallbladder, it stores bile. Now, as I've explained before, you may have different parasites that could start to attack your common bile duct, goes up into the gallbladder, different liver flukes that can do that, or they go up into your hepatic ducts, start to cause a lot of disruptions inside your liver. Some people, this is what they end up with their gallbladder right here. Gallbladder is completely congested with gallstones. This is the gallbladder right here. Everything is connected to the common bile duct. These are intrahepatic ducts. And over here, this is just congestion that could also take place inside the liver. If you have any congestion inside the gallbladder, you have a bunch of fluid backing up into the liver. And when they do any type of liver test, they're going to be like, your liver's in trouble. How's it in trouble? Well, you might have a fatty liver right now. And you're not even drinking alcohol. They call it non-alcoholic fatty liver. A healthy liver is going to turn into a fatty liver. Fatty liver is going to take into liver fibrosis. And before you know it, they're going to say cirrhosis. And if you don't have a liver transplant, it's basically the end of the road for you. Now, this is definitely what I do not want, right? The liver, it is filtering your blood 24/7, 365, 250 gallons of blood per day, about 1,000 liters. I'm sure that throughput value is a lot higher if you're a professional athlete, if you're exercising all the time. But everything goes through the liver. Just like if you're dealing with a car has got to get that oil change, right? But they don't just change the oil, they also change the filter. Now, if you don't want to do a liver transplant, you need to find ways to get the congestion out of the gallbladder, get the congestion out of the bile ducts, intrahepatic bile ducts. And that's what I did because this is what I wanted to avoid. I needed to avoid this, right? And if you are improving your liver health, you're going to be improving your kidney health because kidneys, they're doing about a fifth of the blood. And if your liver is in trouble, then your kidneys going to have to handle even more of that stress, right? When I think about health, interconnected, what I should be focusing on, when your filters are working optimally for you, your liver, your kidneys, that means your blood viscosity is going to be at a very healthy level. When people are dealing with multiple organ failures, I don't care if it's liver or kidneys, the blood viscosity begins to rise. Hypertension begins to come in. You're going to have edema that begins to show up. Swollen feet. You go to the ER, you go to the ICU. Some of y'all need to take some of you need to do a little bit of a field trip to your local ICU, to the ER. Look at the different patients that are there, and you will learn a lot if you're there. Okay, that would be my teachability index regarding health. I had to continue to up my willingness to learn, keep it at 10 out of 10. And what is my willingness to accept change? 10 out of 10 on that too, because every single week I'm doing something to better my health in terms of detox. That's a combination of cleaning out the small and large intestines, flushing out parasites out of my body on a consistent basis, making better food choices. For years now, I have not been eating sushi, that kind of stuff. I used to eat all that stuff all the time. I don't eat that stuff anymore. Next, every 2 weeks, I'm doing something that will clean out the gallbladder, flushing out the gallstones out of the gallbladder, and also intrahepatic ducts, intrahepatic stones from the liver. Now, some of you may not understand what I'm talking about here. That's perfectly fine. But you guys need to do your own research, get that book on human physiology, and work with your holistic doctors, naturopathic doctors, integrative medicines that know what they're talking about. And when you are looking at your doctor, you should be looking at health. And they're vibrantly healthy throughout the whole year. And they're not having a whole bunch of these ups and downs with their own personal health. They just know how to get their body healthy, in check, and they're well balanced. Because they're also doing detox protocols. They're also eating right. They keep their stress in check, right? They do everything that they possibly can to get their body running optimally. All right, the next lesson in Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command is called the Training Balance Scale. This is such an important lesson. I'm going to go slow. Now think of a scale that tilts back and forth. On one side of the scale, it's about how you think and how you feel. What are your dreams, your goals, your attitudes, your mental processes, your vibration, your internal motivation? So that's on one side of the scale, how you think and how you feel. On the other side of the scale are the how actions, the specific techniques, the strategies, the action steps, the activities, and physical action. Now, in the world of personal development, though, is going to tell you the reason why you're not achieving your goals because you don't know the how actions. You don't know the specific techniques. You're missing the strategies. You need to have the physical actions. So come back, take another course, come back to another conference, buy another book. Now, according to Kevin, he says, you need to place a lot more emphasis on how you think and how you feel. What is your why? Your goals, your dreams, and attitudes at a very core level. Not just, oh, I had some positive mental attitude. I had positive, give myself some pep talk, for about 5 minutes. This is more than just giving yourself a little pep talk for about 5 minutes before going back to your negative think. This is more than just doing about 5 minutes of pep talk before going back to all your negative thinking for the rest of the day. That's not how it works. The training balance scale goes a lot deeper. Coming back to this chart, I'm sure many of you been on personal development. I'm sure you've seen this iceberg many places. This at the top of the iceberg, what you can see is your conscious thinking. It's about your short-term memory, your logical thinking, your willpower, decisions, and analysis. Okay, this is only commanding about 5% of your mental capacity. What's underneath below the surface is what's controlling everything else. 95% of your unconscious thinking are your habits and beliefs, your true values, your true identity, your self-worth, your imagination, your self-confidence, your long-term memory. It also commands your automatic bodily functions. Right now, your heart rate, respiratory rate, even the blood pH, your blood sugar, controlled by your subconscious mind. They're trying to balance it all out. It's called homeostasis. But what's really underneath below the surface where nobody sees, not the person you see in the mirror. Who are you really inside? Who are your true habits? What are your true beliefs? Your true identity? Okay, your long-term memory. Now, you can call them the dark occult, you can call it the parasitic elite. There are many people that have been trying to program you at a very early age. You were born to succeed, but you've been programmed to fail. I'm going to share with you how they program you to fail. Coming back, just give you a little bit more heads up on the training balance scale. How you think and how you feel at a very core level. Napoleon Hill, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. He didn't write the book. You need to have all the action steps. You need to have all the specific techniques. Then you can get rich. What is really down here is your unconscious thinking. Your training balance scale, this side has to do with who you are at the core, this image that you have at the very core. The dark occult, parasitic elite, they've been programming you through TV shows, such as King of the Hill. Many people that relate to these characters, relate with these characters as Hank Hill, lives in a very average home, comes in a very average town, comes back to an average wife, got kids that respect him, don't respect him. He has these friends, they just like to hang around, talk about a whole bunch of nothing, drink beer. None of these are high performers. You become what you think about most of the time. You're the average of 5 people you hang around with. Over here, same thing with Homer Simpson. I used to watch his TV show. Once again, how do they program you every single day? Well, you spend about 30 minutes with them every single day. That's who you are at the very core. You think about Homer Simpson's going to go back home, watch Homer, it's very comfortable. And at the beginning of the show, they all rush to that sofa, all the kids, and they all sit in front of that TV. That's the way of programming. They're programming to do the same thing day in and day out. And they love to drink that beer. Next, when I was growing up, there was this TV show called Cheers, and this guy, his name is Norm. He recently passed away, rest in peace. And you can take a quick look at his photos, recent photos before he passed. Not in a good place. But that's how they program you, by having you watch these shows day in and day out. Of course, there's also Married with Children back in the 90s. Once again, Al Bundy goes to some work he doesn't really enjoy going to, comes back home to an average home. He has a nagging wife. He has kids, don't really respect him. And every single day he's just stumbling to the next thing, stumbling to the next thing. And people still watch him. Family Guy Peter over here drinking with his friends. And even South Park, just cartoon characters, they have to make Cartman fat. Right? So you're watching these TV shows day in and day out. Many people, that's all they do. They go back home, they hang around with their favorite TV shows. It would be Homer Simpson. So you're 30 minutes in, Homer Simpson. Then you may watch Hank Hill, King of the Hill. So you're an hour in. And then you may be watching Married with Children, another half an hour show, hour and a half. And then you're watching Peter with Family Guy. So you're 2 hours in. That's the time that I'm talking about earlier. If you have the willingness to learn, you have to set all this stuff aside. You have to set aside and replace it with information that could really truly your life. Okay? They're so confident that you're going to develop a dad bod, right? Right now, I no longer have that dad bod because I'm doing the nutrition, I'm doing the detox, I'm doing the exercises. Because before I was doing the exercises, I was eating right, not getting any results. So I had to combine and do more on top of what I was already doing. And what I was missing was the detoxing, which I explained earlier in the presentation. They're so convinced that you're going to develop a dad bod. There are mannequins that people will see at department stores with a dad bod. You go into the store because they've done the forecasting. They know what sizes are selling year over year. And people are just getting fatter and fatter and fatter. So they want to provide a very healthy, they want to provide a very welcoming environment for people who got dad bods already. Is that what you want? That's what really, at the very, very core, the training balance is. Who you are at the core, how you think and how you feel. Many people, they think that I want six-pack abs, right? They want to be this person on the right. And they think that, well, I'm going to work very hard. January 1st, go to the gym, do this, that, and then the third, get my right, get my meal plans right, gonna get all my Tupperware going. So they work hard for about 6 months. And this technique only works when you're in your 20s, like early 20s, later on this is going to work because I've tried it. So from January 1st to the end of June, working very hard and they will see results. But by July, they'll be very excited. Right? They're going to the beach, take some photos. They're very excited. They do some Instagram photos, the TikTok videos. But once summer's over, what's going to happen? Many people, they revert back. How do they revert back? September, activity level goes down, not really doing anything, lack of motivation because you got the photos taken, right? You're like, well, on to the next thing. Well, you're going to be rolled right into Halloween. Before Halloween really kicks into full gear, you know when you go to the office break room, it's going to be a whole bunch of cupcakes, candies, pumpkin pies, and people are going to get geared up, eating a lot more sugar throughout that season. And you're going to see your waistline just simply get a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger. Then a couple of weeks later, you're going to get rolled into Thanksgiving. People be calling you up, say, hey, come over to my house. Got Thanksgiving dinner over here. Get another call. Before you know it, you are at 3 to 4 different Thanksgiving dinners before maybe orchestrating one for your own family. A couple more weeks later, we're dealing with Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. I don't care what celebration you're at. Christmas time, December, more eating on top of eating. And a couple days after Christmas, you got New Year's celebration again. Before you know it, you're going to roll back right into that dad bod. Because at the very core of who you are, it's not a person with a six pack. You don't have a six pack underneath. You don't have that blueprint underneath in the unconscious thinking of a person with a six pack. The habits and beliefs, the values, it's down there as a person with a dad bod. So when you do just a couple months, you work very hard, you get yourself a six pack abs, but it's inconsistent what you have underneath the surface. What's that's going to happen is you're going to self sabotage, but it's basically your unconscious thinking holding you back, your subconscious thinking preventing you from going to the next level. And that is the part we got to target moving forward in the world of personal development. Because I don't think a lot of people that have done this very, very well, they don't know how we can go deep into our subconscious mind and start to rearrange the furniture underneath so we can install those healthy habits, healthy beliefs by default. We're not just going to stumble our way, have some one step forward, two steps back. We're going to just beeline to success and stay there. And that's what I had to do with my own personal health. I had to not only do the stuff in the physical, but I also had to work on my mental mind. I stopped surrounding myself with people that just constantly went out to drink all the time. They want to party, this, that, and they all had dad bod. If you hang around a whole bunch of people with a dad bod, you're going to be one of them too. Another thing is you want to surround yourself with positive motivational pictures. Okay, maybe you start doing some work with ChatGPT, you do some pictures, and then you put your photo, you know, over somebody with a six pack ass. And you have to look at that photo consistently. You have to motivate yourself to go in that direction. Because if I didn't do that, I was going to go from this picture on the right, I'm going to roll right back in. Because in the subconscious mind, I didn't think I deserved it. One thing I want to bring to your attention is a program that I've been using the last couple of weeks. This program is called Future You. This program is called Future You, okay? This is a program that was created by my friend, Brad Costanzo. I've known him since 2012, so it's been 15 years. And he is very, very well respected in the world of online marketing, personal development. He works with people like Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Brian Tracy. I'm sure you heard of these guys. When they have business problems, they call Brad. Anyway, he has this amazing offer right here. He's got his ideal future self. So you got to think of a future version of yourself, and you got to install that future version of yourself into your subconscious mind. What does that person look like? How does this person speak? How does this person respond to people, events, situations, circumstances, setbacks? He used ChatGPT. You can turn your ideal future self into a personalized AI coach with 3 simple prompts. Okay? I'm going to also leave this link inside underneath in the comments. I want you guys to check out this program. It's only for $10. I don't know how expensive it's going to be in the future. And if you have any problems with this program, you can always just get a refund. This is for those of you, if you need immediate clarity on your next steps, if you are looking for daily accountability that fits your style and guidance that actually sticks, using the only mentor who truly gets you, you. What you're doing is you're using ChatGPT. You're going to use it and create a coach. But this coach is not like some random person. This coach is just a future version of yourself who already accomplished everything you've wanted to accomplish. And from that position, they're coaching you, your present situation now. They're trying to help you bridge that gap. And that's what this program does. I highly recommend this program. Another program I highly recommend is this 30-day program. You also work with Brad. He's going to be sending you lessons every single day. Every single day, he's going to share with you the different mental frameworks that he used to become extremely successful. He's going to share with you all these different AI tools that are most effective to help you, but are very useful. Because there are many, many AI tools that are out there, but not all of them are going to be beneficial for you. He spent a lot of time just weeding out the unnecessary so you can have the most important. In week 1, it's going to help you reset your attention. In week 2, he's going to help you reclaim your identity. In week 3, it's going to help you design your inner environment. So this is the future version of yourself. You want to be building your mental architecture, installing new thought patterns, establishing emotional momentum. You got to have the unshakable clarity on that future version of yourself. In week 4, you're going to help you get into momentum and move and do like your future self. If this is something that you're interested in, I'm also going to put it in the comments below. Okay? We went through a lot of information today in a short period of time, but I'm still not done. We still have one more lesson in Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command. The 4th lesson is 4 Steps to Learning. So, all right, the next lesson is called 4 Steps to Learning. And we all go through these stages. Doesn't matter what you're learning. We go from a place of unconscious incompetence all the way to a place of unconscious competence. Now, I'm going to use riding a bicycle as an example in this lesson. So when you begin to start riding a bike, maybe you don't even start riding a bicycle, you start riding with training wheels or a tricycle. You're going to have your family, loved ones around you help you get on that tricycle. And they're going to teach you, put your hand on these handles, and you're going to pedal this way. And this is how you're going to get some momentum. And people may give you a little shove on the back because you don't know what you don't know. You have no idea how to ride a tricycle even. But over time, you're going to develop something called conscious incompetence. You know that you don't know something. You're looking at your neighborhood kids, a couple years older than you. They're already on their bicycles. They've been riding with their hands, popping wheelies, or they're riding without their hands on their handles. And you're like, wow, there's so much I don't know about riding a bicycle, but I look forward to learning, and I'm on my way. Next part is conscious competence. You know that you know something. Over time, you're going to learn how to get that training wheels off, and your parents going to feel comfortable with you. Hey, going to get you on that bike. You're going to begin to learn how to balance on this bike. And before you know, you just have that neurology set in, because right now, when you're doing bicycle learning, you're trying to install the skill set into the subconscious mind, in the unconscious thinking. This is part of getting information, getting skills deep inside through repetition. Unconscious competence. Success is automatic. People call you, you get back on that bike, and you're like, hey, let's go. And we're going. The 4 steps to learning, you always go through these stages. And don't be surprised if you go from a place of unconscious competence and you get kicked back right into unconscious incompetence. Doesn't matter if you are riding a bicycle. Let's come back. So you finish learning about riding a bicycle, and maybe you don't ride a bike for a number of years. You go to college, you go to work, you just drive your car. Well, you might go on a family vacation. All of a sudden, your family will say, hey, why don't we get some bike rentals? There's a bike trail somebody told me about. And in that moment, you're not going to be full of anxiety because you've already installed the skill set of riding a bicycle a long time ago. inside your subconscious mind. You're like, hey, let's just go get that bike rental and we'll be on our way. And that's what it is about learning. Okay. There's always another level that you can go to. In previous videos, I also explained these are the same steps that you go through when you first tie your shoes, when you learn how to drive stick shift, when you learn how to use chopsticks even. And there's always another level that you can go to. Just because you know how to run doesn't mean you know everything about running, because there's always somebody that knows more than you, that apply more, or somebody that know how to drive stick shift, know how to drive a car. They're not racing professionally. They're not racing at the Daytona 500. They're not Formula One drivers. There's always another level that you can go to in your learning. And that's what's exciting about life. If you decide to go on this journey of personal development, you have to always ask yourself, what is there more? Just because I know how to tie that pair of shoes. Many people, you're probably tying your shoes wrong. I'm talking about guys that are out there. If you just watch some videos online, or you find yourself in the Nordstroms, they have so many professional ways to tie shoelaces. Just the way you tie your shoelaces, people can tell a lot about you, your upbringing, your education pedigree, everything. Just from your shoelaces, how you tie them up. And are you willing to be teachable and go to that place where you say, hey, I thought I knew how to tie my shoelaces. They're coming in all crooked, but there are actually ways how you can tie them where they're completely square on your shoes so they look a lot more professional. And there are ways how you can tie your shoes. They don't just untie themselves so easily. 4 steps to learning. One thing I also want to reinforce is when you're watching these TV shows, they're so sinister because many people, they always give themselves that pat on the back. It's like, hey, my life is not so bad. I'm just like Hank. I'm just like Hank, you know? And there's no progression in anything. After years and episodes of this TV show, they're still in the same place and same friends. And but they give you a way out because they have a way you've telling yourself in the subconscious mind. I identify with Frank, but at least I'm not disgusting like Bill over here. Or you identify with Homer Simpson, but you have a way out in your subconscious mind. They're trying to tell you, at least you're not disgusting like Barney over here. Springfield is also a very, very common city name. It could be a locale, whatever. I think I did a quick research. Washington is the most common. Right after is Springfield. And they want to embed this character. And you wonder why the American Family Guy, they're just underperforming across the board because they keep on installing this image of themselves inside their subconscious mind, reinforcing it with daily episodes. Isn't it time to develop new habits and beliefs, develop new values and identity, develop new self-worth and self-confidence? And that's what I'm going to leave with y'all today, right? And you want to be picking up this free CD series. Now you can download it into your MP3 player. You can stream it with your phone. Once again, how you get it, simply tap on any of my links in my videos. From here, it's going to take you to a sales page. You want to just tap buy now. From here, you want to use the coupon code, which is YWIYC, hit apply. Come back on top, fill out your contact, billing, payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. Just want to find people who are serious about this program, tap complete my order, and look for it in your inbox. If it's not there, look for it in your spam folder. If it's in your spam folder, redrag it back into your inbox. Tap in that email. That's how you get access to your wishes, your command, how to manifest your desires. People that want to see Kevin in person for this program, they had to pay $10,000. That's before the accommodation, all the other expenses, the flights. Just being in that room with him, people had to spend $10,000. And you can hear Kevin going back and forth with him. Their questions, he helped them answer on this CD series. Nothing is cut out. Truly beneficial if you really want to up-level your health, up-level your finances, up-level your relationships. Come back to these lessons. Who are you listening to right now? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Next, Teachability Index. What is your willingness to learn? Give yourself a score between 0 to 10. Next, what is your willingness to accept change? Also give yourself a score from 0 to 10. Training balance scale. How you think and how you feel. Not just about, I have 5 minutes of positive mental attitude, and the rest of the day I'm thinking about my frustrations, imaginary arguments, this, that, and a third. What are my dreams? Really sit down with yourself. What are my dreams? What are my goals? What's my attitude at the very core? Not at the conscious level, but at the unconscious thinking, at the unconscious level or the subconscious thinking. And what are the ways to help me reinstall healthy habits, healthy beliefs about myself? Because very likely many of you, you got Hank Hill down there. You got Homer Simpson. You got Norm, Al Bundy. You got Peter. You got Cartman down there. And you're wondering why you go to the department store, you keep on finding yourself buying sizes bigger and bigger year over year. Just doing your exercises, just doing your detox. It's not enough. Just doing your nutrition plans, not enough. Reinstall. Finally, 4 steps to learning. Unconscious competence, move your way up. Conscious incompetence, move your way up. Conscious competence, move your way up. Unconscious competence. And perfectly okay if something just knocks you over and be like, you actually don't know anything about anything, start over. Be okay with that because it's trying to help you to go to the next level. So thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about these lessons. And I look forward to connecting with you, and I'll talk to you soon.